Michigan DUI lawyer. I was recently hired by one of my TikTok followers. And unfortunately, that follower did not follow my advice that I'm giving you. So I want to reiterate what that advice is. Go through the script. First off, if you're stopped for a suspected DUI, the first question the officer is going to ask is, have you been consuming alcoholic beverages this evening? Your response unequivocally is, with all due respect, officer, I'm going to exercise my right to remain silent. That prevents the prosecutor from introducing any statement later on, okay? That's the only benefit. The cop already knows you've been drinking because he can smell it. Next, the officer will ask you to produce your license, registration, and proof of insurance. Be careful that you don't fumble with your wallet or spill the contents of your purse on the floor of your car. Carefully retrieve those documents from the wallet and hand them over to the officer. They will ask for all three documents at the same time because they're trying to confuse you. It's one of the things that they've been trained to do. Ask for more than one document simultaneously. The officer will then leave the car and walk back to his vehicle. At that point, don't start spraying perfume all over yourself or smoking cigarettes. That's known as a masking odor. They're trained to look for that, detect it, and report it in their police reports as a sign of consumption. Then the officer will ask you to exit the vehicle. And don't forget, under Pennsylvania versus Mims, you are required to exit the vehicle. Do so carefully. Don't fumble with the vehicle controls. Don't, lean up against the car. These are things that they're trained to look for. And then the officer is going to have you perform field sobriety tests. You say, officer, with all due respect, I'm not going to submit to any field sobriety tests. In Michigan, there's no penalty for refusing field sobriety tests. Then the officer is going to request that you submit to a PBT. This is a PBT. Don't blow into the PBT. It's a civil infraction, $100 to $200 fine, no points, and it doesn't abstract to your Michigan driving record at all. There is no suspension for refusing this one. Refuse this one. And then you'll be arrested, and the officer will read you chemical test rights. Submit to that test. Whether it's breath or blood, submit to it. We can fight on those issues at a later date. Might want to mention that you're diabetic at some point in the process because diabetics don't give consent to a blood test. If you follow this advice, it does not necessarily guarantee a victory, okay? But it minimizes the bad evidence that the prosecution might be able to introduce against you at a motion hearing or during a jury trial.